Hello. Weren't we supposed to have a combined grammar class?
No, but then he said we are a little behind in this portion.
No, after his literature was done, we were supposed to have grammar.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I did not bring the textbook.
Don't tell me!
Well, we have the chapters in the volume, hopefully.
No, I have the rest. Do you have the book at least? I have the book, so I'll give you the book. I thought we'll do a truly beautiful mind.
Yeah.
And no, the thing is, probably we started with grammar last time.
Yeah.
And then what happened? He said he has many lessons. They have many lessons, so we are a little behind. But our other Siddhi did not come today, so I did with him. So let's continue this. And I started with direct and indirect. Last time, no?
Yeah.
But wait. We did active passive last time.
Reported speech.
Yeah, reported speech. Okay, we'll do it next time when we start. Should I tell them to our class next time?
No, that's fine. His portion is behind.
Yeah, his portion is behind. I have done quite a few chapters there. So there. With you, I can move very fast because you're the only one. So you can make it. Yes, he was feeling it cold. So
usually it's me and Anna clashing who's hot who's cold, so we need to turn off the AC or turn it on in every lecture.
So I was just telling him also, if you're not coming, please inform them in advance so that they will inform me. I wanted to ask you for a long time. Did you read those books?
The
Dan Brown?
Yeah, the novels. My father had to return them because the pages were different. The pages were half printed, so one side was printed, one was not printed. And when I thought that it was probably just one side, I saw the page numbers, they were wrong.
Yeah.
And since then, we are just waiting for the books to arrive now. This happened with my pants that I ordered from Amazon. Every time I order something from Amazon these days, it's either defected or it's not in the quantity that we ordered it in.
Is it?
I ordered 2 pants, one for me, one for my sister, and only one arrived. Then we returned it and we asked for another, a replacement for the order. Again, one showed up, so now we are returning it and ordering one pant separately.
You mean pan?
Pants.
Okay.
The T when I speak.
No.
Chapter 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind. Who do you think of when you hear the word genius? What is a genius? What qualities do you think a genius has? We shall now read about a young German civil servant who took the world by storm about 100 years ago. In the summer of 1905, the 26-year-old published in quick succession 4 groundbreaking papers about light, the motion of particles, the electrodynamics of moving bodies, and energy. His work took up only a few pages in scientific journals, but changed forever our understanding of space, time, and the entire cosmos, and transformed the name Einstein into a synonym for genius. 50 years after his death, Albert Einstein's genius still reigns. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, without any indication that he was destined for greatness. On the contrary, his mother thought Albert was a freak. To her, his head seemed too large. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. When he finally did learn to speak, he uttered everything twice. Einstein did not know what to do when with other children, and his playmates called him Brother Boring. So the youngster played by himself.
So they say that Einstein was probably what a mild autistic today. Probably in those days it was not diagnosed.
Yeah.
So autism is also when you have a little lower IQ or many times when you have higher IQ. So he definitely had higher IQ. so therefore his mother found him little a freak because she thought he had a little big head. He was not sociable. He did not know how to play with children.
But wasn't he the one who asked about his younger sibling, where is the wheel?
Yes.
Yeah, I read that in one of an article I was reading about Einstein. Much of the time, he especially loved mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister, Maja, he said to have said, "Fine, but where are the wheels?" See exactly what I was saying. A headmaster once told his father what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he'll never make a success at anything.
See, when people don't understand, when somebody is slightly different, we think they are not fit.
Yeah.
The principal said, doesn't matter what he does because he's not going to succeed in anything.
That's pretty mean to say about a kid.
Yes.
I can't imagine someone in this day and age saying that and not going through a lawsuit. A headmaster. Oh yeah, sorry. Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to. He later became a gifted amateur violinist, maintaining this skill throughout his life. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. He went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old, and scored good marks in almost every subject. Einstein hated the school's regimentation and often clashed with his teachers. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left school for good. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal than Munich.
See, many probably he asked questions which teachers had no answers to because he was very brilliant, was very good, and probably therefore he did not like that one lecture after the other and go games and sports. Many times children have different. He was a different child, so he needed different things that stimulated him probably or his intellect. So he did not like it. He left the school.
So he just decided to drop without asking his parents.
Probably. And then finally he decided to go and study in Switzerland, German-speaking area of Switzerland, because they were far more liberal than
the area where he was Munich. Yeah. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics. After finishing school, he decided to study at a university in Zurich. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with a walrus mustache. Was he dashing though? He seemed like a really creepy uncle at every family function.
Walrus mustache.
Okay, in my school, in every classroom, like every laboratory or even in the library, there are big portraits of like really creepy looking people. And Einstein had the biggest portrait in my first grade classroom. I was absolutely petrified of sitting near that portrait. My class used to be the maths lab, and it had Einstein ka itna bada portrait. It would be bigger than 3 of us kids stacked together.
Oh.
Later, they had to remove it because all the kids were reacting very bad to it. The next year, they returned back.
No portrait should be that big. That's what they say. No portrait or human face
should never
be that big.
Yeah, it was so scary. Like one row, it was on the pillar of the. There are no pillars. It was on the pillar, and 3 seats were on that pillar. So those 3 seats were constantly empty. Nobody would sit there. He's not dashing, trust me not. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student Mileva Maric.
Yes.
Mileva
Marik.
Mileva Maric, whom he found to be a clever creature. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistines.
Philistine.
Is it Palestine or is it
No,
Philistine?
Philistines. Philistines means those people
in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds.
Okay, so Philistines.
Okay, he said those,
yeah.
Okay.
So Philistines are those kind of people who have no interest in art, music, or something like that. So he was constantly, see, there are very few people who have great interest in science as he has. He was a brilliant, so physics. Very few people understand physics. Like if somebody comes and starts talking to me about physics, I will listen out of courtesy maybe, but once or twice. After that, I'll walk out. Arey baba, physics mere palle nahi padta. You know that kind.
That's how I feel about physics.
Yes,
it's just incredibly
all Philistines are those who are just not interested in art, literature, poetry, all that. So he was interested in art, poetry, literature, along with all the physics and everything. While there were so many others in this college and in his family who were not interested in all that. So he did not have common topics to talk with anyone. They were probably interested in the common gossip or common things, So even in your school, you'll realize that not many people read or they like to read.
Every time someone in the class brings out a book, there's always like a corner wala group of boys who are like, why are you trying to be such a pick-me? Stop reading.
Yeah. So, or interested in poems or poetry, they don't understand.
They just think everybody is pretending to like be interested in these things.
So he disliked
them greatly.
Yeah, he liked them greatly, and he didn't have people to talk about them or share it with them. So therefore, he did not know how to talk to people because people did not have interest in what he liked, and he did not take any interest in what their talks were. So he found this girl who was brilliant, who had interest in they had common interests. They shared common interests.
The couple fell in love. Let us survive in which they put affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. Wrote Einstein, how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas and secrets. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. The Bureau of Theoretical Physics. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they came together again after a journey if one of them had been moving very fast relative to the other. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E is equals to mc square. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Albert had wanted to marry Mileva. Why am I pronouncing her name wrong? Mileva.
Yeah, Mileva.
Mileva, right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. She is a book like you.
She's a book like you. Like she reads a lot. Only knowledgeable.
His mother said. Einstein put the wedding off.
A woman should not need not be intelligent. No, she needs to know how to bear children, how to cook, how to wash, how to clean. That is what the women are for. So in those days, there were very few universities who even accepted women. So there were this was the one of the fewest universities where Mileva could go and study, and she was studying physics, and she was trying to find out relativity, theory of relativity. She was working on something called theory of relativity. I happened to watch this documentary where, okay, you read, then I'll tell you that.
The pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1990. Einstein married his cousin, Elsa, the same cousin?
Must be like, it's not uncommon, no, even in India. They do
We marry cousins.
Yeah, they do marry, no? It's like Mama ka beta and Bua ki beti, or no, Bua ka beta, it's something like that.
So like distant cousins, right? Like people who are not blood related.
Of course, blood related means एक ही parents के बच्चे नहीं, but सगी माँ. It's not very uncommon even in India. Now it is not. Now nobody does that.
Crazy to me for some reason.
Yeah, now nobody does it because genetically it is not right. But people would do
socially it doesn't sound right either.
So now here it is said that she was losing her intellectual ambition, which is not true. That she was losing her intellectual ambition. The opportunities were few. So the documentary that I saw, that she was working on the same theory that he was working, and the some breakthrough formula that she was devised by her, and then he worked on it. And when the theory of relativity was published, he got all the credit, and he didn't even mention her name. And he said, yes, you're my wife, you be my girlfriend, you're my wife. So it is your job to support what I do and help. What is mine is yours. That doesn't work. What is his is hers.
Because any credit for what she did.
Yeah, because when she went for jobs, they asked her what your contribution is if you want to work as a professor. And she said, she couldn't even say theory, or if she would say theory of relativity, they would say that is your husband's. And what have you worked on? And there was no proof that she had worked on something which was a breakthrough, which had actually was a breakthrough thing that helped him in his further research.
He's so mean, and he married his cousin.
Yes. So it
pick a struggle, Einstein, pick a struggle.
So it was really, if you see that documentary, if you ever find, you should on Einstein. He was a brilliant man, no doubt. But his wife was equally good. She was the one who had given that important breakthrough in that relay, but never got a credit. So imagine a brilliant person is only left to do cleaning and house chores. How stifling and suffocated she might feel. So, and then they were also living apart, away from each other.
Oh.
She was there. He had some 3 children, so she was living in Switzerland, and he was somewhere in Germany, and so they were not even living together because the mother never liked the daughter-in-law and something like that.
So the mother liked the cousin.
Yeah.
Einstein was mean, and he married his cousin, and his mother does. The problem is him right now. I don't know why I don't
like this paragraph. Therefore, I don't like this paragraph. It should not be like
she lost her intellectual ambition. He made her lose.
And the society and the times were such that she
it would be very difficult for her to, pursue her interest. So like even now, people don't take, a female like oriented scientist, like fields in science very seriously. We just don't take it seriously. Our school was planning to take us to like an actual laboratory where all of the things are tested and done. Things like, insane DNA tests are done and everything. And the principal was telling us about the presentation. She was like giving a presentation on where we are going. Well, that trip ended up getting cancelled because the HO office of the school did not approve of the trip.
Why?
It was primarily promoting feminist radical ideas.
How?
Because it was all about how women could, like do everything they wanted, and the lab was owned and run by like group of women. Yeah, it's not in Maharashtra though. The lab was pretty far, but it was kind of expensive, but it did not get approved because it's promoting radical ideas.
But your head herself is a woman, right?
She works under her husband. Everything is under the name of the son and the husband.
Okay.
Though she might be the one putting in the work, she's never credited for it. She's very happy with that.
No, she keeps getting so many awards.
She gets the awards, but all the names, it's always Ryan's school and it's always Augustine Francis Pinto school. It's never Grace Pinto school. She just always comes and yells at people. That's her job. I got yelled at by her last year.
Why?
For what? I have been a member of council last year also and this year also. And her primary job is to yell at council members.
But why?
She's just upset all the time. She doesn't like anything. Like at all. Even if you serve her water, we gave her a bouquet, okay? And she was upset with the bouquet. She's like, this is too small. This is how you disrespect me. I'm like, bruh, we put in money for that and you're saying. You just think that everything is done to disrespect her and put her down.
I remember, I'm not sure if that happened. So, my colleague's son, he was in rank higher and his teacher was teaching and her dupatta was here. And while she was teaching in the class and she was walking by and she came down and she pulled her dupatta and said, come for this.
Yeah, our school doesn't allow leggings for teachers. You're supposed to wear like broad pants. It cannot be leggings. You always need to have a dupatta and you cannot wear any form of Western formals. Someone please send them help and therapy sessions.
Actually.
And some money too, they're always money hungry. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. In 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which light from a fixed star would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. When the Nazis came in power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. 5 years
He was a Jewish person. He was a Jewish scientist. So,
was he?
Yeah, so he was a Jew by religion. So
he had to obviously.
So he had to migrate.
And people still never knew Nazis were doing this until the reign of Nazis was over.
They knew they were doing it, but they did not know the extent of it. So only when because it was a tight reign, right? Nobody was allowed to openly criticize or speak about it.
When the Nazis came to power. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had. And now they were afraid that Nazis would build and use an atomic bomb.
So there was a news that they have achieved this nuclear fission. So, and Hitler, he had this team of scientists, and at one point he had asked them to work. So it was every scientific discovery was used in war.
Yeah.
So therefore, so when they discovered this nuclear fission, they realized, and when the news got out, Americans and everybody realized that that means they are moving towards nuclear atomic bomb. So therefore, they realize if that happens, if Germany can find out how to make atomic bomb,
then the world is over.
Yes.
Does India possess any nuclear weapons? India does.
Yes.
I thought we had signed. Okay, yeah, we had signed the new no use or no using it first treaty. So UN has made all the member countries sign a treaty in which none of them will use nuclear weapons first.
Yeah, but most of the treaties about nuclear weapons are not signed by India. India drastically says no. It is definitely for our protection. So, because there are four countries in the world who have this kind of five maybe. And India is one of
very
it.
few.
So, America tried their level best so that India does not develop a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. USA never wants countries to develop any sort of powers in weapons because their trade of weapons, their primary money comes through trade of technology. I do everyone, that's why I take great interest in this. At the urging of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939 in which he warned a single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of their surrounding territories. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of destruction. This time,
so it says that now it's not true. See, when they heard, he did write that if they come up with a nuclear bomb, then the nuclear bomb, if it is exploded on a port, a huge area will get devastated. He did inform that to the president and asked the president basically to hurry up with the scientific exploration. That in US must come up first. Okay, and then he was trying to prevent means he was telling do not make, but then the scientists convinced him that if we don't do it and if Germans come up with it, then we are gone, we have lost, they will definitely use it on us. And therefore, in fact, everybody was stuck at one point because it was this huge mathematical calculation and everybody was getting it wrong. And that's when they convinced Einstein to help them. And Einstein said he will help, but he will never get a credit for it. So Einstein did help in that one huge calculation which was going wrong constantly. So he did help with that calculation and whatever mathematical thing that.
So that he doesn't get blamed for the invention of such an atrocity. Basically.
Yes. So he said because he knew how horrible and what devastating results it will have. So he did have part in making atomic bomb. Whatever that main thing where the whole world was stuck was actually solved by him for the Americans. But he had asked them not to give credit for it. He will not take any credit for that. And they had said that Americans will not use it. He had asked Americans that they will not use it unless they think it's a dire necessity.
Well, Hiroshima and Nagasaki was not a dire necessity.
Americans claimed it was because Japanese were causing a huge damage. They said Japanese had they continued the everyday damage that was Japan was causing to the world.
Japan is an incredibly tiny part of the world,
and how still it was a very dominant.
Japan even ruined Russian powers multiple times. It's incredible how the small amount of technology that they possess, they could create things and make USA drop atomic bombs. Achievement and very devastating. Einstein was deeply shaken about the extent of destruction. This time he wrote a public missive to United Nations. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics. agitating for an end to the arms build-up and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. I don't know, the more that I've learned about Einstein in the past 2 years when I got really intrigued by him, the more pretentious I find him to be. He's incredibly genius, okay? That's nowhere, no one denies that. What people don't like about him is the times where he like very blatantly says something that he contradicts himself.
Yeah. Maybe as they claim that he was probably slightly autistic, probably he was slightly autistic. Probably. Now we don't know. That's what they say in today's world. They don't have that filter. They lack that filter most of the times. So they just say whatever comes to their mind. So it is that wiring is little loose.
One of my distant aunt is autistic, like on the extreme spectrum of the. She's very lovable though. She lives in Singapore and she's very nice. She bakes like semi-burnt cookies and cakes every time she visits. Love that. They're delicious, but the bottom is always burnt. Yeah. One day she'll definitely buy it. Trust me, she's getting there.
Okay, so let's do the question answers. No. You try to find the answers from here.
Okay. Who had these opinions about Einstein? He was boring his friends. He was stupid and would never succeed in life. His headmaster. He was a freak. His mother. Love the opinion. Love how expressive they were with their opinions about the kid. Explain what the reasons for the following are. Einstein leaving the school in Munich for good because it was very constrictive and he wanted to go to a place which had more.
He found the regiment very stifling. He found the regiment very stifling.
Einstein wanted to study in Switzerland rather than Munich because people there were more open than the people in Munich. People had a broader perspective. Einstein seeing in Mileva an ally because she had common interests like him and seemed to have
so Mileva was studying
the same subject
physics at the university, was helping him with his relative theory of relativity and they shared common interests.
What do these tell you about Einstein? What do these tell you about Einstein? I don't know.
All those above things. Einstein. Okay, what do these tell you about Einstein? Einstein knew what he wanted in life. He was very focused. He took great interest in physics and physics and other art and
he loved playing the violin.
Yes, playing the violin. So all this tell us that he was a man of vision. He was a man who knew what he wanted to be in life. He was quite liberal and therefore did not enjoy the rigid and restricted way of teaching in school at Munich. He rather enjoyed the studying at Switzerland, where it was much more open and free.
Why did Einstein call his desk drawer? What did Einstein call his?
At the patent office.
The Bureau of Theoretical
Physics.
Is it? The Bureau of Theoretical Physics, yes. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin?
And why did he call? Why?
Why? Because he at that time he had stored all of his papers of the discovery.
Okay, while working at the bureau, he was also secretly working on the theory of relativity, and all his work and papers were probably kept in that drawer, his research material. Most of his research material was always in that drawer. And
That was called the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt to warn him about the extent of destruction atomic weapons can cause, and to urge him to create the weapons first in USA rather than
that is not given in the textbook.
That's just his
Yeah,
just to warn him about the
So you
extent
need
of
to
damage.
first tell that Germans had managed to get achieve the atomic fission, and therefore the world realized that the creation of atomic bomb was what are they saying? Was and therefore the scientists were therefore
Worried that
Nazis would come up with atomic bomb. US scientists were also trying to come up with the atomic bomb, and to stop the creation of atomic bomb and to tell him about the disastrous effect of such kind of bomb, he wrote a letter to Franklin Roosevelt. Will you be able to write that?
Yeah, I just have to refer the textbook once or twice.
Yes.
How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? He was incredibly shaken by the extent of destruction that happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and wrote a public what is it called? Public letter.
Public missive.
Public missive to the United
Means message or letter. Missive means letter. Public letter to United
Nations to urge them to control the use of nuclear power.
In general, actually, arms in general, no? Formation of world government.
Okay.
And world government.
Yeah.
And end the arms build-up.
Okay. Why does the world remember Einstein as a
world citizen? First of all, his theory of relativity changed the way what it changed, I don't know.
When he changed the field of science.
Science, yes.
It impacted many different fields it just basically impacted different fields.
Yeah. And then he took great interest after the World War. He took great interest
in preventing the buildup of arms.
Arm buildup, yes. And then he used his popularity to campaign against arms and
he used his popularity to campaign for
peace and democracy. For peace and democracy. And he also had put forth the idea of world government, which is never going to happen.
It's an incredible the world will stop functioning. We had a debate on this. I'll tell you what the conclusion was. So basically, some were saying if there was a world government, there would be uniformity amongst the citizens, and there would be better administration and more peace. So the other party said we don't need uniformity. No one even looks the same in the world. Who said we need uniformity?
No. Diversity is, you have to learn to accept diversity.
And they were like, we need a uniform sense of government and people need to feel like they are all the same for there to be peace. He said people will go insane if you treat them like that. The other person was like, people will absolutely go insane if you start making, one person the absolute, ruler of everything, the person who decides everything. And whichever region may that person belong to, there will be incredible favor towards that. They gave a very brilliant example of how Narendra Modi, though he is an incredible politician, he always has that tiny bit of favor towards his land of origin.
Yes.
And that too in a country like India. If you're talking about the world, you'll have Hitler number 2 then. That's all.
And we are so different. We are, there are so many. We feel superior just because our complexion is good. If you are, that starts from there. A white person will definitely give preference.
If a white person starts ruling, there will be slavery all over. I can promise that. And it's not that I'm saying it out of spite for anyone. It's just if you think about it, someone with a brighter complexion might feel like they're better than us. And us Indians, even when we see someone who's a bit lighter and is from West side, we automatically feel
that they are great. We think they are great and they are
like they might not even be a high school graduate, and they're like, so you should definitely. That's where it's just we as people should quit the slave mindset.
Okay. So you will write some of these questions. So you will write question number. What did Einstein call his desk drawer? Okay, that is my book.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. I have this habit of marking the questions. So I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Question 4. Then question 7. Then your question 3.3. Einstein seeing in Mileva as an ally. Reason. Why did he see Mileva as an ally? So for now, these 3 questions. Stein, no?
Yeah. Einstein, yes.
Which question are you writing?
I'm writing the question where he considered Mileva and ally. I'm going through the order. I'm just reading the paragraph so I can frame the answer.
So she studied at the same university, studied physics. They were working on the theory of relativity. And they shared the common interest. So you said you're from Banaras, I mean your native place. So when we were doing that lesson of
Bismillah.
Bismillah Khan, so you Were those familiar places?
The feeling that we had with those places is very familiar, but not exactly how I would describe it because
No,
Banaras
the
developed.
place. Yeah, I mean that. What ghats? Oh, the ghats. Maybe ghats. Even now.
The ghats are still the same. The place is the same. It's just how mistreating like people have like how it is mistreated now. Back then it was so beautiful the way it was built.
Clean.
The feeling that we get is
Yeah.
the same. It's just looking at it is not as
Yeah.
pleasing anymore. Ganga Ghat itself has become the most polluted ghat. Like anywhere in the world, if you see a river bank,
Yeah.
it is the most polluted because people have started dumping ashes and it's religious sentiments, but also
And yeah, of course,
it's just turned into something which you wouldn't like to visit anymore.
And that earlier the crowd was less.
And it was more peaceful. The population was.
Yeah. And these are also the tourist spots. So that's what
The
people say.
government has listed them amongst the top tourist spots in India. Thanks for doing that. Even my grandma stopped visiting those places. Like, it's just if you go there on a good day where there are less people, you'll still get pushed and shoved outside the crowd. And when you're going there on a really crowded day, especially for the Ganga Aarti, like in the night, it is just everybody's breaking into sweats, and you'll just be there trying to look above people's head to see the Aarti.
I do want to see Ganga Aarti, but when I see the crowd,
there are VIP sections that my father has access to because of his connections over there. So every time like my father wants to see, he can go there and like see it from somewhere else and like a little place which is above the ground, but it's not safe for everyone like who doesn't get to do that. Then Ganga Ghat just becomes a place where oh yeah, I got pushed and shoved. It was not pretty. They are ruining like the pretty places in Banaras. There is this market over there which is now highly glorified. I don't remember the name. It sells really beautiful handmade jhumkas, handmade jewelry, and everybody's taking pictures there. Everybody's tagging the place, and they think it is very aesthetically pleasing. They're forgetting the sentiment that it's for the artisans and
Yeah.
people who are making it. It's not for your aesthetic pictures.
you're far less sleepy when you come at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely.
So you get time to sleep at home or rest at home.
Like today there was no school, so I'm full of energy.
Yeah, today. And it didn't rain much.
Yeah, they should have given it off yesterday. Yesterday it was just messy and sticky and woolly.
That's what I was telling them. It will not rain today if they have given us a holiday. Mumbai Indians likes to catch us off guard. So you confidently wear these shoes in the rains?
These shoes have really high soles, so nothing gets wet. That's the reason why I wear them.
So even next week we'll have 1 hour of class, okay?
Yeah.
Done? Now again, once again,
Sentence breaker.
full stop. And then at that, so he was, Einstein was researching about the theory of relativity while he was still working at the bureau. His, and therefore his research, yeah. And therefore the documents, all the documents regarding his research were stored at the drawer. And therefore, okay. So please keep in mind you write the content good, but break that sentence. So there will be multiple sentences. And you never start with he.
Einstein.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I make the change right now? I'll just write Einstein. I'll forget the change.
You never start a sentence with
Anything other than the
name of
proper
the
noun.
yeah, proper noun because who he. Therefore. Good. Now, if this question comes for more than say 4 marks, then you have to
Elaborate
elaborate.
on the work he did
Yes.
and what the letters he wrote.
Yes, all that. Now, that promoting the field of science, then fine. This work against the build-up of arms.
I'll elaborate on
Yeah,
that,
elaborate.
the atomic power and everything.
Yes. So when he realized that in Germany it was done, he wrote a letter to Roosevelt. Okay, so that about the effects the atomic bomb would have. That then you would after the word Hiroshima Nagasaki,
He wrote a letter to the United Nations to
have a
promote
world government. Then next topic would be he also worked for against the buildup of arms, and then the last part peace and where is the peace and democracy?
Oh, sorry.
Peace, promote peace, give peace and democracy. What peace and democracy? Yes. Okay. See if there are any multiple choice questions in the.
Also, ma'am, do I have to get an extra lecture for it, or can we just revise the wind poem in one of the lectures?
We haven't done wind.
No, revise it actually.
Okay.
I'm studying for the exam and I'm having a little bit of
Okay, next time
problem
when you come,
framing answers.
next
for it.
time, should we revise wind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because I'm very comfortable with your portion, so we can always do the revision.
You literally got a situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
The MCQs. We only have 4 MCQs.
No,
no.
and then
Okay, I thought these were the question answers.
No. So the passage and MCQs.
Should I try solving it?
Yeah, and then we'll discuss. Was it still raining when you came?
No, it was raining. It only rained twice today.
Once
in the morning.
Just light.
But it wasn't even drizzling in here. How can I say that? This was not correct. All 3 are correct.
How can we say that headmaster was not correct in his opinion? Einstein was a successful man, he was a gifted child,
and the headmaster could not recognize.
Yes, all 3 are right.
So and only Einstein was an average person is incorrect. So what do I select?
Actually, all 3.
Okay. Should I check the back for the answers? Like this answer particularly.
Other answers?
Yeah, hopefully after every chapter. Okay, not for this one. It's just I select 3.
What did you say for this? He was a headmaster's opinion. What was? He will not succeed as a leader. Oh, really? His mother wanted to know.
It's either one of these, right?
He hated school strict discipline,
Okay.
regimentation, and clashed with his teachers.
Yeah.
Argued with his teachers, both, yeah, A and C. Unimpressive, unfashionable.
Dashing.
Dashing. The dashing word is too much for her.
Yeah, he was definitely creepy looking. But is it used? Yeah, it is used.
Yeah.
Her intelligence. Aren't two the same?
Marriage came to an end. Faltered means could not be continued. Means came to an end.
Yeah. She was also booked.
What led to her divorce won't be, it would be constant fighting.
Yeah.
Became an unhappy housewife. After the years of constant fighting, the couple finally.
Minerva meanwhile was losing and becoming an. I think it was she lost her intellectual ambition. That's what led to. She the fought with Einstein's mother. No, she fought with Einstein. That's
Grew
why.
very irritated, lost interest. Okay.
That's why it was not inconsistent, constant. Years of maturity. Completed.
Okay. So next time when you come, we'll do the menu.
Thank you.
Get your book. So if you have written anything in that. I wish those two also had the same book.
It would be so much more
Fun. I know.
But no, I cannot deal with Anurag trying to correct me at every second of the lecture. He only does this in English lectures. Otherwise, we consider him the quietest kid. Thank you, Mom.
Bye.